I'm your host, Sean Crystal Parker, and welcome to episode 4 of Real Shift Happens. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's jump right in here. So our SMB topic, or our SMB discussion topic, or spirit, mind, body discussion topic this week is going to be Dark Night of the Soul, also known as spiritual depression. So have you gone through a really blissful spiritual awakening and now you feel depressed? Well, you might be going through the dark night of the soul. And we, of course, are going to get into that more. But first, we'll get into our 5-minute focus shift right now. I will now guide us as we begin the meditation. I'd like you to get comfortable in your chair and relax. Close your eyes. Start with taking 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you settle into a natural rhythm of breath, knowing throughout the practice you'll hear sounds inside the room and sounds outside the room. These are not distractions, not disruptions, simply what's happening around us as we sit and breathe. Begin to notice the mind as it wanders, jumping from thought to thought. Gently guide the attention and focus on the chest. As you breathe in, feel the rise. And as you breathe out, feel the chest fall. Simply continuing this practice, observing the sensation of the breath. Notice the mind as it wanders. Release that thought, returning attention and focus to the breath. Learning to be comfortable in stillness. Again, taking 3 deep breaths. And slowly opening the eyes, slowly begin to move. And welcome back. Man, isn't meditation everything? I mean, seriously, I really, really encourage you, and I will not stop saying it, to get your 5 minutes in daily. Try your hardest to at least get that 5 minutes in. This is for your own well-being. And trust me, you will not regret it. 5 minutes a day is nothing out of your day. So try to get that 5 minutes in, and if you can get that 5 minutes in daily, and you've been doing that for a while, try increasing it to 10 minutes. And if you can get 10 minutes, try 15, and so on. And you'll see your practice, the time increase, but you'll also see the difference in your own attitude and your peace of mind, which is the most important thing. So anyway, today we are talking about the dark night of the soul. And this concept, maybe you've heard of before. It is an old concept, and it does come from a religious background. But again, like in episode 2, when we talked about the Great Awakening, or this spiritual awakening where people are waking up to the truths about themselves and the world, or, we can call it a shift in consciousness that all these people are experiencing over the world. Similar to that, or I would say along with that, many people are also experiencing the dark night of the soul. So, what is the dark night of the soul? Well, this is sort of a phase, some would say, in your process of, your spiritual awakening. Some call it an omen for change. And as everyone knows, change is always really, really hard. So, something most of us don't like to do on any level, and especially if we're in this process of spiritual awakening, it's really difficult when we're kind of straddling that proverbial fence. We're kind of living in this human world, I guess you would say, and also in this spirit world in a way. It's like we understand, we're starting to understand who we are as spirit, but we still have, of course, this human body. So we're trying to learn how to balance the two of them together. And a common occurrence is when, say, you do have an awakening and you have this glimpse of the divine. Many times following this period, you are basically thrown back into the sea of unhappiness. And this is for you to face yet another layer of your own ego. And of course, for you to grow and continue to grow. So the dark night of the soul can happen at the beginning of your spiritual awakening. And for some, several times throughout your journey as you ascend through the process of awakening. The length of time varies, but could be from days for some to months to years. And they call it, I guess, spiritual depression because many people experiencing the dark night of the soul feel this deep sadness and feel kind of lost. You'll have feelings of hopelessness, and some even have feelings or thoughts of suicide. And that's, something that can be very dangerous, and we have to watch our thoughts because we start to realize that it is our thoughts that are taking us to those places. And during this time, you may have just a lot of negative feelings, and it's going to be really, really hard to shake them. And nothing is soothing you. Nothing is soothing this negativity that you feel in you. Not your normal activities. No drinking is going to help. No shopping or any addictions that you have that may normally kind of soothe pains. This is not going to work. Meditation, yoga, none of that. Nothing seems to be able to touch this deep unhappiness that you feel. And you don't understand why you feel like this. You just kind of become uninterested in life. But unlike a normal depression, there's also a deep feeling down inside that you have a higher purpose and you are seeking that purpose. But in actuality, what you're really seeking is to find and heal yourself. And you may or may not know that at the time. Other signs or symptoms you may be experiencing are you feel like you want to be alone a lot more, and you actually feel lonely. Yet in your solitude, you find clarity. So it's kind of a paradox. It's like you want to be alone, but you feel lonely, but you also are finding some peace in that solitude. So also due to, all the negative emotions you're feeling, you might find yourself thinking about old childhood traumas and negative memories that from the past that you maybe thought you've dealt with even. And all of these memories and trauma bring up more negative emotions. You also may find that your sense of the world and your worldview has been shattered. It's like this veil has lifted from the illusion of life and you feel stuck in a rut. And you just are wondering, what is it all for? On top of that, you may have compounded negative experiences, meaning you may have problem after problem after problem, and they just don't seem to let up. Also, maybe several areas of your life have fallen apart or been dismantled, such as work, your relationships, or maybe even your health. And like I mentioned before, nothing you do to try to repair the situation is working for you. And so, you just kind of have to wade through it. There's many more signs, and I would suggest doing a Google search for Dark Night of the Soul. And you'll find many articles and books and videos, and you'll get a deeper understanding of what it means for you and where you're at in this phase. And doing that research for yourself, usually you end up finding the right answers that you need for yourself. So, for me, this week actually was just like another really tough week for me. And it actually led me to the topic of today's topic, the dark night of the soul. Originally, I planned to have a special guest actually this week, but for whatever reason, I couldn't make that happen in time. So I had a backup topic, which is going to be synchronicities, because I've been experiencing them like crazy lately. That's another thing. I've been having a lot of number synchronicities, but maybe we'll touch on that topic next week. I think we probably will. But anyway, I've been going through so much this week that I couldn't really focus on the podcast and the topic. And the week was flying by, and all my problems and emotional breakdowns. And in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking about getting the episode on synchronicities recorded. So finally, this is like all the beginning of the week, and finally it's Thursday, the day I usually record, which was yesterday. And I'm literally doing everything I can to avoid preparing for this episode, although I've been thinking about it all week. So all day yesterday, I didn't do much to prepare. And then I ended up watching a 2-hour movie with my son at like 8 p.m. So when the movie was over, I ended up texting a friend to see if there was something he could help me out with the next day. And he tells me he's not available. So immediately, I don't blame him. I totally understand, but it sends me into an emotional tailspin. Like, I literally just got so angry and emotional and just felt like, why, what is going on? Why am I in this predicament right now? Like, what is going on with my life and my thoughts and my emotions? And mind you, it wasn't a huge deal that he couldn't do what I was going to ask him, but it had been just one thing in a string of unfortunate events that I've been going through for the past several months, actually, but increasingly for the past few weeks. It just seems like it's gotten more and more for the past few weeks. So just one thing after another. And it just feels like literally like my life is crashing around me. So I'm texting my friend with distraught messages like, my life is so fucked up and this and that. And honestly, this is not even something I usually text to people. It's just, I was so upset, and he's telling me to breathe and meditate and, calm me down and all of this. And finally, his text messages stop. And, I know that he probably just fell asleep. So, I'm not really tripping off of that. But I'm kind of still emotionally distraught. Like, I don't know why. It was kind of just the straw that broke the camel's back for me. So, and also, I didn't finish my podcast. Of course, it's like 11:30 at night. Last night, and I hadn't worked on the podcast or anything. I've literally been crying for the last 2 days because it's just so much has been going on. So, at this point, my son hears me. I'm in the bathroom and I'm kind of crying and emotional and banging on stuff a little bit. And, I have to convince him everything's okay and for him to go to bed. So finally, he goes into bed or whatever. And I'm just in the bathroom crying and sobbing and, and I think to myself, like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, what am I doing? I'm not about to let, that situation or, whatever's going on. I could just feel like something It feels like something's testing me. So I'm like, I'm not going to let this get me. I'm not. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go in front of my computer and work on this podcast. So by this time it's after midnight, but I have a second win. So I jump on the computer, I start looking up synchronicities again, and somewhere along the search, my mind starts thinking about the dark night of the soul. And I've heard this phrase before somewhere online. I don't even know where. But something told me, maybe I should do the topic on the dark night of the soul instead. So I start searching it up online, and after digging through Trevor Isley's videos on YouTube, and the video that I found was called How to Understand the Mind, Dark Night of the Soul. Wow. I mean, this video, literally was speaking directly to me. He's breaking it down in this video. And basically, he sums it up as that, we're seeking this divine mind. And when seeking this ultimate divine mind, as opposed to all the other types of mind, frivolous minds, I guess, we have, it will eventually lead you to the dark night of the soul. It's almost like a companion. And in this dark night of the soul, Trevor says that this is where we will find the answers to the questions we've been seeking, in that empty space, in that dark space. So on the other end of having a dark night of the soul experience, you will hopefully come out more awakened, with more death of the ego. Basically, you will be more of your divine self. I love that. His entire channel is based on the dark night of the soul and him helping people navigate through it. So definitely check him out. It's Trevor Isley. His last name is Ilesley. So if you feel like you're going through something similar, or you feel like you could be going through this dark night of the soul, definitely check him out, because he is breaking it down and helping us navigate our way through this. So anyway, as I'm researching this topic, of course, I discovered that, man, what? I am most definitely in the dark night of the soul, and I have been for some time. And I've been here before without knowing, years ago, before and after I had my spiritual awakening. So me, finding these videos and researching a little more is actually came as a relief for me. And in that moment, some of my pain was lifted. Like, I really felt like, oh, it was an aha moment. And I stayed up really late watching videos, reading articles. There's a really good book I want to get. I wasn't able to get yet, but I'm going to get that soon. And all about the dark night of the soul. So it's funny though, because, as you go through these videos, especially on YouTube, I'm a comment reader. So I'm always reading the comments to see what other people are saying. And as you go through videos like this, you'll be surprised that a lot of people are going through this same thing. So if you're going through something similar, please know that there are so many people going through it too. And like Trevor explains, it's the dark night of the soul is like a messenger in your life, and it's bringing you a message from your higher self. It's breaking you down in order for you to heal and become a better version of you. And it's like a battle between the old self and the new self. So what happens is you're brought to the depths of your own fears. And when you face your fears, you learn how to love yourself. So the ultimate goal of the dark night of the soul is to teach you how to love yourself more and to become more of who you're supposed to be. So yeah, it's hard as hell. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it hurts. But if you have an understanding of why you're going through this process, I think that helps a little. For me, just in this, since yesterday, me really coming to this realization, it's helped me tremendously. I feel so much better. That doesn't mean that everything is put back together in my life right now, because it's not. But I know that I'm moving forward and progressing and growing, and that I have to grow through these dark times in my life. And that this, it may not be the last time, So what do we do when we're in this state, in this dark night of the soul? The most important thing I think that I've learned already, and I'm not an expert, obviously, because I'm literally in the midst of the dark night of my soul. But from what I can tell is, and what's helped me just in this short amount of time, is to let it ride. Feel the pain. Go to those dark places. Find out what it's trying to tell you. Listen to that darkness. Listen to what comes up in you. Listen to how you feel. Pay attention to your emotions. And the object is to get through this and to become more healed in your mind, in your emotions, heal your depression, your relationships, heal your feelings. And this is pretty much the purpose of why we have to go through the depths of fear, and to get to the love, the deep, deep love for ourselves. And when we feel that deep suffering, we have an understanding of what, others go through in suffering, what the world is going through in suffering. And we can find compassion for ourselves and for others. And we learn to love ourselves and get to know ourselves on a much deeper level. And that's really part of the reason why we're here. A lot of other reasons too, but that's a good one. So with that, that's all for today in this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe and support our podcast. Go to anchor.fm and search up Real Shift Happens, and you'll find us there. If you want to leave us a message, you can do that there too. Or you can support our podcast there, or also subscribe on any of your favorite platforms. And until next time, Real Shifters, go within and make real shift happen. Peace.